All right, guys, I got over to the Ledgestone Open early. Hopefully I'm gonna have the course to myself. Wasn't playing in the Estonia tournament this week, so got to get here early, get some early work in, and we're gonna go through a working round today. So I'm gonna throw the aggressive shots, I'm gonna throw the safer ones. I'm excited about this one. Got a lot of time to get some work in here, and here we go. All right, for this one, hopefully my voice holds up after being sick the entire Europe trip basically, but this one is almost a guaranteed forehand. I don't really have any other options, so I'm going to throw something pretty fast, pretty stable that I know is going to come back to the right. And for me, I want it to be something that's pretty replaceable so that I'm not scared to push it, farther to the left, push it up that hill a little bit more so that I'm not fading it down there near the parking lot. There's OB on the right, and I also just want to cut off some distance if I possibly can. So I'm going to go Venom on this one, throw a couple maybe, and kind of start seeing how I can push it a little farther to the left. And we got a headwind kind of right when I threw it. All right, I'm not as warm as I thought I was. What a start. All right, I'm gonna try to get a little bit more on this one. Golly, that first one scared the hell out of me. While I did want to throw something replaceable, I still don't have a ton of discs, so I threw a pretty safe one here. Honestly, this is fine. I want to push it a little bit farther up that way, but for now, let's play it from this one. This is going to be closer to what I'm really looking to have in the tournament. So 313 uphill, I believe. I'm going to try to get this one high and let it kind of roll up against the hill. Not terrible. We'll take that. When I'm a little bit more warm, that one should come over and kind of land. So it should pan over this way and land where it's cut rolling up against the hill, and it'll stay closer to the left side. So that was a pretty good start without being warm. I can get that higher when my arm's warm and get it to come down, land a little closer to the basket and roll up the hill. So we're happy with that. All right, so here's where that first one landed. That's the beauty of this hole, is that if you try to cut off too much distance, you get it in the water. And in this case, I got it in the water and still got lucky. So, all right, so we got this one to edge a circle. Really what I'm trying to do with this normally from that distance, put it up higher in the air, throw it a little harder, it'll flip a little faster and end up more closer to the bullseye. But I do want to keep it over here to the right, from down there, and let it cut roll up that hill. And hopefully we've got an easy birdie putt so that we don't do that. Here's one that you've got a low ceiling, or it creates a late low ceiling with that branch hanging over. Again, there's only one option here for me. I'm going to throw a forehand that's pretty stable. I'm going to try to, I like throwing, when I'm going downhill, I like to throw something as stable as I can, because it's going to kind of stable out and lift itself back up. It's never going to overcook on me. Last year I got pretty close to that water. I don't want to do that again. So the only thing you have to worry about with that is pushing it too far over there to the right, close to that picnic area. I'm going to try to roll with my captain's Raptors to start with, and see how those work. I didn't have those discs last year when I played this, so I'm going to roll with those and then adjust from there. So that one's going to push pretty close to the OB. I've got a little tailwind right now. I didn't know I had that much of a tailwind before I threw it, but that should be the right disc. I need to trust it to come out and really give it some gas. Don't try to fade it off that water so much. Just trust it not to get there, because this disc is not going to get that far. That one flared up really, really hard. Okay, so really with that tailwind, I've got to, if I'm going to have a tailwind like that, I've got to throw something a little bit less stable. I've only got one Firebird that fits that shot right now. I'm not quite sure what to do there since I only have one left. I lost one of my really stable Firebirds over in Europe. So shoot, I've got control over that Firebird. Let's go ahead and throw it. Jared, I trust it. This one I'm gonna get over there to the left side of the tee box. I'm gonna try to stay away from the water as much as I can because this is my only one at the moment. And I'm gonna need this later in the round, but I do need to kind of get my arm going. Here we go. You can see that one's perfect. If I threw that one in the water, the rest of this round is gonna be really tough though. So I'm gonna go get my backups for that one, come play this tournament, and that's what we're gonna throw in this hole. Okay, so right here, if you can see this white line, that's the OB line. We've got Raptor 2, Captain's Raptor 2, Captain's Raptor number 1, lines right here. That's pushing it way too close. I don't want to get there. Really where I want to be is down here where this Firebird is. Now we can also see that's somewhat close to the water, but you know, I'm also really close to the OB down here because it starts to tighten once you get this far down. So this is the type of flight we want. Without that tailwind up there, I think the Captain's Raptors work. We're right in between the Captain's Raptor and this. I think I'm gonna go with this, and once I have my backups, you know, it should fade out. As long as I don't overcook it close to the water. This one's one of the easiest ones to control in my bag. If there's any headwind, I'm definitely going Captain's Raptor, so we'll go from here. All right, we got 257. The Firebird's in a great spot. This is a roundabout where I want to be, and I'm more likely not going to push it quite this far down here. Maybe be more up in that area where it's 280, 285. Because I'm a little bit lower, it's gonna kind of be the exact same shot. So I'm either gonna go Berg or Berg X. In this situation, I'm leaning more towards Berg X so that I can kind of get it going to the left and trust it to fade out before it, you know, gets down there to the water. It gets pretty tight down there near the basket. So one of these will work pretty well. Get down. That'll work. All right, the beautiful thing about a Berg is it doesn't fade out too much. Here's the K1 Soft Glow that kind of got hit by the tailwind, started it too much on hyzer and it just got taken over. That's not what we want to do. Berg X's here are almost in the bullseye. Both of them are pretty close, so I feel pretty good about making those putts. Again, I don't bring my putters out so that I can fit more discs in, so that I can work with every possible option and have every possible repetition without having to walk the whole thing around again and play another round to get more reps on a hole or go get it and come back. Try to carry all those in my bag, and it works pretty well for me. It's just kind of the nature of my game, and you know, having a bunch of extra discs in that bag because I already need so many is pretty helpful. Pretty happy with the game plan on that one, and we'll move on to the next one, hole 3. All right, my phone's overheated twice. We're gonna go pretty quick through this one. The Hex should be the play for this. I threw it pretty well last time. I almost hit the basket, but I do believe the camera turned off because my phone overheated. So let's give it 2 more runs here and try to lock in this shot shape. Not too bad, missed a little to the left, or a little to the right. Got a little wind off the left right there for some reason. Just try to start it down the left side this time and get it to just kind of turn over directly in the gap and then, you know, just land flat.
But they gotta go about the spot. I moved 2 of them, but they gotta go about.
All right, that one was much more the shape that we were looking for, and much more the starting point we were looking for. When I throw the more stable one, it seems like the white one's a little flippier. When I throw the more stable one on that exact line, it should be right at the basket. Okay, you can see that the, I mean, it's like the third time I threw this, but stable hex, pretty safe. We want to be closer than that for sure. Dimension that I threw here, strangely, that's in really good shape. Don't want to throw that one. This is the one where I actually hit the line with the nuke tomahawk, and this one I got to hold up, so it's a little bit OB. With that said, getting through this line right here puts you inside the circle, so it's pretty easy putt when you have your putters. But yeah, all in all, I think it's going to be the hex, and that should fit that gap pretty well. It's gonna late turn kind of right in here and should come straight at the basket through the second half of the gap, so we feel pretty good about that. All right, here's a fun one where the new discs should help me a lot. I've got to get a pretty late turn that just keeps going left and, you know, just straightens out down the hill. Can't keep going left. I've got to get it to turn at about 150 feet down there. This hole is 423. I need a late turn around that tree in the middle, and I'm likely going to be using one of my Gateway Protos or one of the Neutron Hexes. I can't think of anything else that's going to fit this hole, and these should be a pretty good option. So we're going to aim at that low right part of the branch that's hanging over that right gap, and just spin it as much as we can and get it to cook over there to the left and hopefully flatten out down the hill. So I don't think these are going to get there, but let's go ahead and try the Gateway Proto Chiefs first. I don't think these are going to have enough, especially there's a tiny little headwind. I think these are going to cook over too much, but let's try it anyway. Yeah, those are just, especially that one's flippy. See, that one's got a little bit of a chance, but really it's just not gliding enough, and it's not going fast enough. It's not quite fast enough to really get down there and give me a chance at birdie. So let's go the flippier Neutron Hex first. This should allow me to kind of hit my starting point a little bit better and get that later turn a little bit better, because I can get into this one. Should take the torque a little bit better and take the speed a little bit better to kind of get that late turn, but also not wobble out of it too much. Beautiful thing about those hexes, you can see how late it turns, and that thing, I guarantee you, if it doesn't hit a tree, it's going to go past that basket at 423. I know it's downhill, but the great thing about this MVP stuff, or in this case Axiom, the slower stuff, once you get it spinning, if you put enough on it, that rotation just keeps going. So with that, it'll go as far as a fairway driver, but it's got that stability and flight of and when I say stability, like lack of wobble, it's got that torque resistance and the flight and the lack of left to right movement of like a putter. That flight looked really good. That looks safe and to the left. This one might be a little bit more aggressive. All right, so we got the Chief OS prototype right there. Up here we have the other one. Like, these are not terrible, but obviously not where we want. Okay, so there's the first hex. So we're right here. You can see the whisker right there for in the circle. This is really where I want to miss, if anything. But yeah, we want to miss on this left side, if anything. Really, we're trying to get more kind of right in this territory. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty darn good. If I even have a putt at it, just to give myself the option to lay it up or go after it, that'd be great. Measured at 434 to actually hit that fence. So we got to throw it about 440 to just clear it. It's been a little bit since I've thrown. I was waiting on them to move a van. So kind of get warmed back up. Let's throw a couple of Doom Birds and a couple of Firebirds. Start this one a little to the right, let it kind of come over. Either the Boss or Stable Destroyer. These should allow me to swing it a little farther to the left and push it a little farther forward before it starts to fade out. It came out a little early. All right, let's go a couple of tomahawks, and kind of know that it's the Boss from that, but let's just explore all of our options here. It's kind of switching back and forth between a headwind and a tailwind, but it's mainly coming off the right, so that's good for distance for the tomahawk. I'm gonna kind of start this at that pole on the right, let it move over to the farther to the right, let it kind of swing back to the left, and hopefully it's going to be rolling in that direction. So let's see if we get these warm. That one might go a little too far. We got to get this higher and a little bit more upside down. Might be a little short. Yep. Just try to get in between those two. All right, so just got to get those a little farther to the right, and they do have a chance to get in the circle. Really, if I want to birdie this, I want to be swinging it over there to the left, get it come back into the right, kind of around where that foul pole is on the baseball field. That'd be about as far left as I want it. Maybe getting a little closer to the light pole. We'll go from there. There's a tomahawk right there that's actually in the circle, and it would be an easy putt. But the thing about this hole is, even though it's only about 450, it's really playing more like 475 for my tomahawk as far as the power that I have to use to get it there, because that fence is so high. Like, if that fence isn't there, I'm throwing a tomahawk all day, every day, right at it, and that is gonna get through instead of hit that fence and come back, and it's gonna be pinned. But because that fence is there, I've gotta get it flying all the way, 450, 460 to really feel comfortable about, throwing that in a tournament. So that's why the forehand's the play, or either a tomahawk over in this direction and try to make a 50-footer if I'm going to try to birdie it. This is a really, really tough hole set up for me, so it is what it is. First tomahawk's right here. Really easy up and down. Maybe even give it a run to possibly go in. Kind of like that. Not necessarily the plan to make a birdie. We want to be a little bit closer so it's an actual putt, but that is part of my game that does help, because that was coming almost straight down, which is kind of why it didn't go in. I didn't throw it really aggressively, but that is an option. Doom bird here. This is more of that 50, 55 range that I was talking about, that I'm really trying to get into. I can throw a tomahawk here pretty easily and get it to stop before that OB. So I'm cool with that. And then Boss right here. This one just gives me a little bit of more of a chance to birdie it, because it's going to come in more spiky. I can throw it a little higher over there and get it to come down, spike in, which means I can push it a little farther left. That Doom bird was just kind of a warm-up shot, but I can definitely get that long enough. But it's coming in flat when it's finishing, so it's much more likely to hit that fence. I'm never going to throw a Doom bird, not on this type of hole. If that fence wasn't there, maybe. But Boss, pretty good option. Here's all the other ones that were very, very close, hit the top of the fence or whatever, and literally are in the circle. But obviously out of bounds and I'm taking it 300 feet away. So not necessarily what we want there. All right, we're at hole 6. This one is a dogleg right with makeshift OB on the right and all the shrubs down there, you know, on the left side, the really long grass, that sawgrass stuff. So really this one gets really, really tight the farther you get down there toward 500-600 feet. I do kind of want to push that this year. I do have the extra distance to get there with the tomahawks. I've always thrown tomahawk, and then scuba, just for an easy par on this hole. Par on this hole is pretty good. Really though, now that I have the distance for it, because I can control my tomahawks pretty well, I do kind of want to start being able to push a hole like this and be able to get up into that, you know, being able to birdie a hole like this. If I can consistently get par or birdie, then I'm going to be able to start pushing more top 10s. So I really want to be throwing it, I want it to be landing right in line with that tall, dead looking tree that's got the V. I'm gonna really start it basically like just left of that, you know, the left side of that tree. And I've got a little headwind today, so might flip it kind of fast. Either way, we should be getting in there in that birdie range where I can hopefully have a shot at, you know, 470 to 500 feet coming in to the basket, and you know, kind of take my chances on getting that one in bounds and having a putt inside the circle. We'll see. Come back. Come on. All right, so we had no headwind on that one. I got a lot more distance out of that one. That's the more stable one anyway. So that one should be in really good range. All right, hopefully you can hear me pretty good. We've got, this one's in a great spot. You can see they're mowing, so I could actually push it a little farther to the right and get a little bit closer to the basket, be a little bit more aggressive with the angle that I put it on to push and get a little bit more distance, but this is about where we want to be. I've got 461 left. So I threw the tee shot about 420. That was into a headwind, and I can get it on more of an angle, so I can push it a little farther down there in the tournament. 461 left. I should be able to at least get it to the circle. It's going to get tight once I get down there. Really, this is close enough to where I'm just going to try to get into one as much as I possibly can. I'm going to work it off that left side, probably with the TI Flex. TI Flex Nuke OS, and get it really cooking to the right. Got to make sure to get it on enough, you know, upside down angle to let it come out of it. But I think we're pretty well out of the way of the mower, or they're well out of the way of me. See if we can get this one remotely close into a headwind. Oh, that's a tough one. That was gonna get the distance. I have no earthly idea where that OB line is. It's gonna be close to that inbounds. You can see that one's getting really close to the edge of the circle. That's really what we're looking for. Yeah, we're gonna be happy if we're here. If we're within 450, you know, that gives us a good tomahawk in where we've got a good chance to birdie this hole. All right, this one should be pretty straightforward. Should be one of the Bergs. I've got my K3 Glow Berg. This one's gonna be my kind of neutral flip up, just land flat type of Berg. Doesn't really fade too much. It goes shorter than the other ones. This one's going to be my neutral farther flying one, the K1 Glow, and then the K1 Soft Joseph Berg. That one, this one is really stable. So these will be 3 good options for me. Started on my natural hyzer angle, flip it up directly at that tree that's long, the left of the basket. Golly, it is very hot out here. Missing Europe at this point. I knew this one would probably likely be the one we go with. I'm gonna get a little farther to the right here, kind of flip it up, carve it off of that tree on the left. That's gonna be in the circle, just a little to the right. The only reason I would use this is if I've got to evaluate, is there a ton of wind off the right? It's going to push it left. This one, I'm going to get it as far left as I can, smoke it, and kind of let it do its thing, because this one's pretty stable. Yeah, I mean, you can see the movement. It's less fade off of the other one that I started more on hyzer, the K1 Glow. And if I get it left, it's got a chance of going in. So I feel great about this hole with K1 Glow. So this one's clearly the one that I'm gonna go with. This was the best shape and is basically pin high. This one's too stable. Wouldn't be terrible, but this one was completely shanked and shouldn't even be there. It's the easiest one to putt though. This one right here faded out a little bit early, but I just didn't throw it, you know, I gotta throw it 1% more flat, and it legitimately has a chance to go in because it's not gonna bring that tree into play on the left side of the gap from the tee box, right side looking from here. It could get inside this because it's not fading that much. So I feel really good about the K1 Glow Berg on that one. That's my straight flying one. So we're good to go there. Here's a hole that I've thrown a tomahawk on before. So previously I was throwing tomahawk just straight over the top of that. It is pretty safe. I may do that again, but that's gonna put me at 500 or so to get into the basket. I think, I don't know, it's a long, long way. It's not comfortable. What I've recently looked at was I've got this angle where that gap up top is way bigger because there's no tree behind this branch. So it's about twice as wide, really high. And I can get big distance if I go a, you know, flat to flex Annie forehand pretty high. So that's what I've been working on. I'm really leaning towards doing that as long as there's no crazy wind. So, but we're gonna start it at that high, almost field goal looking piece and get it to come back over. Should be about perfect. Yeah, so that's about what we want. Just try to run that one back. Let's go one more lone howl. I think this is the right shape for this. Should be about perfect as well. I think that one just held a little bit over to the left. We'll see. Lone howl 1, or lone howl 1-1. First lone howl that I threw there, and the second lone howl here. I should be guessing about 350 out. I don't know. We're gonna measure it. All right, we got 351 from this one. This one is probably the disc, and I just have to accept missing a little to the right. And skip, like, my best option to pin this is to go straight over the top, hit the big gap, and just roast it. And if I hit that short one, it's gonna end kind of the same as if I screw up any of these other more difficult shots anyway. So wise, my arm's feeling good, just smoke it up there and drop it on the pin. 350, got a little headwind off the left, so that's not fantastic for this shot. It's more likely to stall it out. But if I've got that headwind off the left, I'm definitely throwing this nuke. God, we just clipped the top of it. Okay, so that tells me for that height, that extra speed of the nuke, let's get it lofted a little bit more. Let's get into it. You can see it drop down behind there. That one's gonna be safe. All right, full disclosure, I completely forgot that this pond was here, but if I'm standing here at the basket, and that's where we were at, you can see this right here, which is usually what I'm aiming for. My discs come in high right, coming from right to left. This is the exact spot that I'm aiming for to get it to land just right in here and kind of roll up there or roll over there or roll over there. And my Firebird is over in this area somewhere. Looks like it's right here. Can't remember if that little grass line, that little cut is OB, but this wouldn't be at the moment. But really, I'm aiming for this general area with my tomahawk, and I do believe I threw my tomahawk right in there. 25 minutes downtime, not great for my arm. This is definitely what I struggled with at the European Open. Something that I'm gonna figure out how to do a little bit better job of if something like that comes up where we've got 4 rain delays or we're looking for discs in practice round. All right, we got 354. So we've got a A and a B pin. We've got A over here, I think, or A over there, B over here. I'm likely gonna go hex either way. For the one on the right, I'm probably gonna throw my stable hex. From the one on the left, probably throw it up a little bit higher, a little bit flatter with my flippier hex. Think about it. Yeah, we like that. Extremely surprised that this landed this short, but it's good to know that I can get this one up in the air. I gotta think that I can get it a little bit higher, let it fade out, and I see that I've got a little backstop there, so this is not a bad miss at this moment. Then for the A/B pin, like I said, really happy with this one. Threw this one perfect, thought it might have gone in. So we'll take that all day. That's exactly what we want. This is my trusty hex. This is the one that I throw the most. But yeah, definitely a hex. Flippy or stable, depending on the basket location.